Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to race 2 of tonight's Superspeedway Kingz twin feature. This race a little bit longer. We are live from the Talladega Superspeedway yet again as race 2 of tonight's double feature gets ready to take to the track. Again, my name is Dawson Wise. If you did not get to join me for race number 1 here just a little bit ago, you missed a good one in the Craftsman Trucks. A field of 30, I believe 27 actually took to the grid, completed that race. With only one caution on lap number 3, the race went green. From there, came down to pit strategy. A lot of fun racing up front as the guys adjusted to the new truck package. In the end, 6 cars came out in the same line, basically, with Matt Lee overcoming Kyler Wynn and J.R. Miller for the win in race number 1. The race number 2 about to go green here in about 30 seconds while we get on the grid. The Xfinity Series car comes out to play in tonight's second race. Similar rules package tonight, 50 laps, this one a little bit longer, only 50% fuel, so a couple of pit stops involved tonight. A fast repair is available to these drivers, at least as advertised, and then 3 green, white, checkered attempts for tonight's race. I'll actually want to double check on the fast repair. It is still advertised. We'll see throughout the race if that is the case. But 50 laps away, qualifying is over. And we are ready to go racing here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Thanks so much for joining me here tonight live on PGR eSports as we get ready for Superspeedway Kingz race number 2. Real quickly, before we get started, I do want to mention something I forgot to mention last race, and I feel terrible about it until somebody mentioned it. JR mentioned it in his post-race interview. Congratulations to PGR eSports owner Michael Triscaro, who I hope is watching right now. As he and his wife had their second baby this week. Congratulations to them. What a special moment. And we wish them all the best as they start on yet another brand new journey. Mike, we wish you the best. We're happy for you. And I hope we can put on a good race for you here tonight. As we get down to the grid, we get ready to go racing in just a couple of moments here on PGR eSports. And that gets all started with the starting grid live for race number 2. On the pole, a quick time of 53.788 seconds. You guessed it. Again, Vicente Guerrero, his second pole of the night. He won the pole in the truck race about an hour and a half ago. He wins the pole for the Xfinity Series race here in race number 2. To his outside, it'll be the number 21 on the side of the car, the SimSeat Chevrolet, on the number 28 on your timing and scoring, John Ellis Jr. He'll start on the outside of row number 1. Row 2, the runner-up from race number 1, Kyler Wynn. He'll start third. To his outside, the man who finished third in race number 1, J.R. Miller. He'll start from position number 4. Row 3, Jason Maines, the 21 on the timing and scoring. I believe he'll be the 12 on the race car. To his outside, the 19 on the timing and scoring, but the old-fashioned blue, red, white, and blue Coasting Thunder 5. It is the RMR points leader, Matthew Baker. And for NBG Motorsports, he'll start from 6th. Row 4, Dylan Jones had a good run going until he got off strategy late. He'll start from 7th. Matt Lee, our winner of race number 1, will start from 8th. And row 5, it'll be Kenny McCullough in the 03. And D3, Daniel Eberhardt in the 90. He'll start from position number 10. Starting 11th, John Mullahan, who finished 4th in race number 1. He'll start from the 11th spot on the inside of row number 6. To his outside, the Nightmare eSports driver of Stephen Miles in the 24. Row 7, Aubrey Thompson of BAR in the 69, and Kenny Stamper, the boss man of KSR, in the 30. Row 8, Richard Elliott of BAR in the 02, and Landon Velicki in the 62, looking to continue his tear early in his money racing career. Row 9, it'll be Jared Haynes in the 6 on the timing and scoring. I believe he'll be in the 7 on the racetrack, and Mark Mondell from McCullough Motorsports in the 59. He'll roll from 18th. Row 10, Brian Hennings for PGR in the 74. He'll roll from 19th, and Chris Carter will roll from 20th in the 33. Row 11, Josh McCullough for McCullough Motorsports in the 01. He'll roll from 21st, and Buddy Waters will roll from 22nd. Row 12, the KSR entry of Joe Huerta. He'll roll from 23rd in the Jack Shack Toyota Supra, and Austin Trombley will roll from 24th in the 31. Row 13, Tim White in the 239 will roll from 25th. Mark Math will roll from 26th. Row 14, the KSR entry of Devin Ray in the 22 will roll from 27th. Logan York will roll from 28th. And rounding out the top 30, John Warden, 29th in the 92 for Hyper Motorsports, and Nathaniel Lee in the 88. Row 16, Heath Joe for Hyper Motorsports in the 760 will be alongside Dustin Carruthers in position number 32 for KSR. And rounding out the 34-car field tonight, Bobby Forbes for Hyper Motorsports in the 5. And starting 34th shotgun on the field is Jimmy Emos in the 98. 34 have made tonight's second feature event from Talladega Superspeedway. We are ready to get it underway, and I'm so glad that you're deciding to spend a little bit more of your Friday night with me here tonight. What a night of racing we've got in store for you. Race 1 was good. Race 1 was great even. What will Race 2 bring us over the next little bit? You're watching Superspeedway Kingz Racing live on PGR eSports. We are ready to get under the green flag for the first time in this second feature event tonight. As here we go. Guerrero, Ellis, and the rest of this 34-car field draw onto the front stretch, eager to get this one underway. 50 laps of action from the Talladega Superspeedway. We're ready to go, and I hope you are too. Into the restart zone for the first time. They wait on Barney the flagman to give them the all clear to go ahead and get this one underway. The green flag is in the air. We're racing once again for Superspeedway Kingz. Through the trial for the first time, Vicente Guerrero, again, much like race number 1, will lead lap 1 in both events tonight. He'll lead lap 1 in race number 2. Here comes Kyler Wynn looking to the outside in the number 82 machine. He finished second in race number 1. What does he have in store for race number 2? John Ellis on the push on the outside. On the inside, it's Jason Maines in the 12. And further back, you saw Matthew Baker take a look to the outside again. Unlike the trucks, the third lane should be very profitable here in just a moment for those guys further back that want to make it work. And it's at least one of the KSR cars. It's the Jack Shack Toyota of Joe Huerta. His boss now jumps up in front of him. That's Kenny Stamper that jumps to the outside immediately. Here come the 30, the 1, and one more car behind him. That's Devin Ray. It's all three KSR entries. Three of the KSR entries. The KSR train is rolling down the tracks on lap number 2. Next to each other here at the front, though, Kyler Wynn will inherit the lead from Vicente Guerrero. Matthew Baker jumps out of line. Does Matt Lee take a look with him? You bet he does. And the third line's working early and often. Kyler Wynn back to the bottom. Ellis and Miller await the help of Daniel Eberhard in the middle. Wynn and Guerrero will both be clear. Guerrero, I imagine, will take it here on exit and try to get back around Kyler Wynn. Jumps up on the bumper. Vicente Guerrero to the outside of Kyler Wynn. He'll go to the lead, but here comes the outside. Matthew Baker, the Tuesday Night Thunder points leader, to the outside of the entire field. A huge surge by the 5 for NBG. He moved the 5 to the point in turn 3. How dominant can one man be in the Xfinity Series car? Matthew Baker is putting it to him already on lap number 2, but he drops all the way to the bottom. Leaves an opening here for Matt Lee and Vicente Guerrero to get it rolling, and immediately it is 5 rows deep of 3 wide racing. It is 4 KSR cars top side of the racetrack. All 4 of their entries are up against the safer barrier and coming to the front. Matt Lee, does he get clear of Guerrero here in 1? It's tight. It's really tight. He's going to get squeezed. 4 wide in turn 1. They come together to Kyler Wynn and Guerrero. Lee and Guerrero now come together. It's still 4 wide on the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. The KSR boys said thank you, but no thank you. They come around the 0-4, leave him out to dry. Now 2 rows of 4 wide. Wynn and Guerrero are going to split Stamper to the third lane, and it's 2 rows of 4 wide racing. Lee gets back in. Stamper's still waiting for a home, and he's holding up his teammates on the top side. That allowed these guys up front to kind of get back into rhythm, and now back to 3 wide we go. But a scary moment for the field there in turns 3 and 4. The KSR boys will jump back in and regroup. Up front, Matthew Baker, as I was saying before, those KSR guys starting to get a little feisty up on the top side. How dominant can one man be in this car? Matthew Baker has won 5 times now over the course of the season, if I remember correctly. In the Ron Morse Racing Tuesday Night Thunder Series, he won 2 nights ago to open his playoff run and lock himself into the round of 8, and he's already up front here in Superspeedway Kingz after just a few laps. So Matthew Baker continuing on a string of momentum in this race car that he has had over the past several weeks. Guerrero, Kyler Wynn clear up front. Wynn to the bottom onto the bumper of Matthew Baker. It's Guerrero now that will lead the top, and the KSR boys are itching to go again, I think. Again, potentially one, maybe two, even possibly three pit stops here for these guys on a 50% fuel load. We expect them to have to pit at least twice, potentially three times. And the biggest mover already, Joe Huerta plus 17, Devin Ray plus 19, Dustin Carruthers plus 20. The KSR train is on the move. You can see him right there, second, third, fourth, and sixth. Now Dustin Carruthers dives to the inside. Still second, third, fourth on the outside are those KSR boys. But it's Vicente Guerrero up front on one of the newest teams in the field, Nightmare eSports. That as of in tonight's race, I believe is just Vicente Guerrero and Steven Miles that are a member of that team. Miles a little bit further back. I believe he's fifth on the outside line behind Devin Ray. Now make it sixth. Here comes Kyler Wynn. He wants to lead again. He's got a great pusher behind him in Matt Lee. It's actually the Matt and Matt show here. Baker and Lee are the lead pushers on both lanes. Kyler and Vicente Guerrero continue to lead those lanes. Up top, D3, John Ellis start to make their names heard, but no help behind them now. Here comes some help. John Mullahan in the 2, and a couple more cars. It's Jared Haynes and Landon Velicki. Devin Ray jumps out of line. Do his teammates go with him? No, Joe Huerta stays put. Does Kenny Stamper maybe take a look, or do they allow Ray to carry that momentum forward as they go into turn number 3? Eberhardt, big push to the back of Devin Ray. Guerrero continues to lead that bottom lane. Kyler Wynn starting to fade a little bit in that second lane, as this one is fast, furious, and chaotic early on tonight from Talladega. We expect pit stops the next 8 to 9, maybe 10 laps possibly over the course of this fuel run. It's going to be about 15, 16, 17 laps, similar to the Truck Series. 8 laps already on the board, and we have not yet been able to even take as much as a breath in this race so far. Guerrero, Wynn, door to door, elbow to elbow, battling for the lead. But Devin Ray, Daniel Eberhardt, John Ellis, and now Tim White start to make noise up top. Matt Lee's going to give him a little bit more noise. The 0-4 looking to go back-to-back in Superspeedway Kingz. Jumps to the outside safer barrier in front of Devin Ray and will bring that train all the way to the front. Matt Lee back to the point, headed for turn number 3. He'll jump down in front of Kyler Wynn, stack up on the bottom. Jason Maines, Dylan Jones, a couple others get out of shape, but everybody keeps it together. Guerrero to the middle in front of Lee. Baker now hung out mostly here about a car length in front of Jason Maines. The middle lane is where the place is to be right now. Guerrero to the lead. He'll be clear. Matt Lee's going to almost be clear at the tail end of the trial. Vicente Guerrero, does he think about throwing the block? Does Matt Lee go high or does he go low? He has all options here going into 1. Guerrero through the initial block, but Lee got to his quarter panel. Matt Lee down the hill. He wants the lead. Baker on his bumper now. Guerrero pushed by Kyler Wynn. Further back, Kenny Stamper says, I'm going to go upstairs. He goes out to the safer barrier to the graces of his teammate, Devin Ray. How about Joe Huerta? Does he jump up there as well? Does he get clear going into 3? KSR trying to roll their way to the front. Now the top lane starts to bail and leaves just those 2 KSR cars and Tim White out there against the wall. Let's see if Huerta jumps out here when they come off turn number 4 to go get him, or if he stays put. For now, staying put. Off turn 4, Guerrero, Wynn, elbow to elbow. Joe Huerta has rolled all the way to second in the middle just by virtue of staying patient. Now Steven Miles jumps out of line, but Mullahan fills the hole, and Miles is going backwards in a hurry. Right as he got to the front, it didn't last very long. He's going to go back towards Kenny Stamper and company back there on the 3rd lane, try to get that lane reformed. Up front, still, Guerrero leading the way. On the bumper of Matt Lee, Wynn on the bumper of Joe Huerta. Up top, John Mullahan, Daniel Eberhardt have joined the party as well here at the front. Bottom side lurking, Matthew Baker, Jason Maines, Dylan Jones, and I believe that might be J.R. Miller, about 6th in line back on the bottom. They're about to lap a car here that's on the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to migrate top in just a moment. I'll tell you who that is here in just a second. It is, I believe, John Ward. We're going to look for a couple of these other cars. Some of these guys are further back than I have the capabilities to see, so. Only one car off the pace, and that car was John Ward, who's now gone a lap down. At the front, lap 11 is on the chart. On the board, excuse me, I don't know why I said chart, but it's on the board. And again, we start to get fast and furious in the 3rd lane. John Ellis jumps out there. Steven Miles is out there. Kenny Stamper going to come with them, and they got one more car in behind them. I can't quite tell who that is. I think it might be Logan York, but I can't really tell. Here comes John Ellis. We welcomed him back into Money Racing the past couple of weeks. He's here tonight in Superspeedway Kingz Race 2, and he's all the way to third. He may get all the way to second. He may get all the way to the point by the time they hit the start-finish line. Door slam. Kyler Wynn and John Ellis make some contact. Ellis goes to the lead. Wynn up to side draft, headed into one, trying to pull back that 21 car. Wynn and Guerrero back to the bottom. A scramble here at the front of the field. Only a few laps remain until the first cycle of green flag pit stops take place. That is Logan York in that blue and black Toyota Supra on the top side. A new look aboard the Logan York machine tonight, so a bit different than we're used to. That's why it took me a second to realize who exactly that was. Boy, this is great stuff at the front. It's constant. Oh, trouble! Daniel Eberhardt, Stephen Miles. Oh, one car up and over and barrel rolling through turns 3 and 4. A brutal wreck for Landon Velicki. And more cars involved here at the back. Eberhardt, big damage. Stephen Miles, big damage. Josh McCullough, big damage. And one more car. I can't even tell which car that is. That's back here, slow rolling. That's Bobby Forbes, Heath Joe. Man, further back, these guys are still wrecking. Jimmy Emos is involved. My goodness, what happened here? Well, this one got started with Landon Velicki. Let's try to find him, as he was up close to the front. Let's see what happened here. He's up here around Daniel Eberhardt. And actually, I believe it's going to actually start in front of him. Let's see. Going into turn number 3, you're watching Landon Velicki. Watch up in front. It's up around Daniel Eberhardt. Let's see what happens here going into 3. Oh, Kenny Stamper. Car starts to unload on him. And everybody's still okay there. Still okay there. Oh, man, way out of shape. Kenny Stamper was all kinds of out of shape. And comes down and clips Daniel Eberhardt, and it is on from here. And watch this hit to the outside wall for Landon Velicki. Oh, my goodness. Brutal wreck. Up and over. And then he starts tumbling, pinwheeling down the apron. Goodness, Landon Velicki, violent wreck. He's going to disappear for a moment. Stephen Miles gets hit. I believe that's by Mark Math. There are some massive damage on some race cars as a result of this incident. Daniel Eberhardt, Josh McCullough, Mark Vondell, Heath Job, a 31 machine of... I'm honestly not even sure who that 31 is. As Austin Trombley. I mean, there are multiple cars that are heavily involved in this wreck. Let's go from up top. That's not the right camera. Let's go from up top. Again, it's already kind of started unfolding here. But watch this hit by Landon Velicki. This one right here. Oh, my goodness. He's up off the ground. He's still off the ground at this point, by the way. There is where he hits back on the ground. And he starts to do a pirouette. And Mark Math, oh my goodness, Mark Math and Stephen Miles, that's a big hit as well. Boy. Take one more look, and we're going to go on board with Landon Velicki here in a moment, but we're going to take one more look. As watch the 62 of Landon Velicki. He gets clipped by Logan York as he's trying to miss the wreck. He's just trying to get out of the way. Oh, man. And oh, look how high in the air that car got. I mean, he had to have been 8-10 feet off the ground. He's barrel rolling right in front of these guys. Here comes Mark Math right in the back of Stephen Miles. We'll go to a couple quick onboards. We'll get an onboard first with Landon Velicki. Obviously want to back this up so we can make sure we get the whole onboard. But I do want to go on board just to show you how violent a ride this was. Hold on to your hats in this one. Oh, man. And we lose our camera there. Let's try to figure out, let's find some guys that were kind of back around him. Richard Elliott might be a good one. Watch up ahead. Watch Landon Velicki. Oh, man. A brutal incident early in the going. Has rendered several cars damaged enough to use their fast repair here early in the going, so we will get ready to go back under the green flag on lap 16. There'll be 35 laps to go, and those first 15, or actually about 13, were complete chaos. I mean, fast and furious action at the front. You could really rarely ever take a breath. Had me on the edge of my seat, and I hope it did for you as well. 35 laps to go. Kyler Wynn, John Mullihan on row 1. Matthew Baker, Joe Huerta on row 2. Vicente Guerrero, Matt Lee, row 3. Dylan Jones, Kenny McCullough on row 4. Jason Maines, Jason Maines, and I can't tell who that car is back there. I believe it might be Brian Hennings. It's basically an all-black car. I can't tell the number on that car either. It is Brian Hennings for PGR. Again, real quickly, do want to thank everybody that came out tonight. A nice crowd for this one. Over 30 of you watching here live on a Friday night. Devin Ray, good to see you. He's on track. Back there in around 14th position. And again, Mike chiming in. I know it looks like that was me. That was Mike. Mike, good to hear from you. Glad that you're tuned in as well. And here we go. Pace car is down. First pit cycle done and over with. We were actually getting ready to make green flag pit stops, so still at least one pit stop left. It might be two. It remains to be seen later on in the race. Kyler Wynn, John Mullihan bring the field back into the Geico restart zone, and we're ready to get these guys back under the green flag. What will be the next twist in tonight's race? We're about to find out. Green flag is back in the air. 35 laps to go in Superspeedway Kingz race number 2. Kyler Wynn, big jump. The problem is the bottom line did not get a good jump behind him. Top lane more connected with Mullihan, Huerta, and Matt Lee, but Matt Lee's going to dive out, leave Huerta and Mullihan all by their lonesome here on the top side of the speedway. They're going to need a little bit of help. They're probably going to have to wait on it here for a moment, but a big surge, and now Dylan Jones joins them and turns the tides a little bit. Kyler Wynn leads off turn 2, but for how long? Here comes John Mullihan with a big push from Joe Huerta. They've got Dylan Jones coming as well, but 4 cars tightly locked together on the bottom side. Further back, Jason Maines, Logan York, Aubrey Thompson start to make their presence felt. Kenny McCullough looking to turn around his luck from race number 1. He's coming to the front as well. He's 5th on the bottom. John Ellis now 5th on the top side. There's a little break between Aubrey Thompson, John Ellis, and then J.R. Miller and Brian Hennings and company that are in that little second group. Wynn still out front by about half a car length. That'll shorten up to about a nose here at the line. As Mullihan gets even with his door number, climbing the banking one more time here in turns 1 and 2, but that's as far as he will get. Matthew Baker doing an excellent job on the bottom side of pushing that lane along and keeping it going in the right direction. Top lane just has yet to get connected enough to where they can work something out, and a couple guys may start to look topside right as I say that. Here comes the top. It is John Mullihan going to the race lead down towards turn number 3. He'll bring Joe Huerta, Dylan Jones, Jason Maines, John Ellis, and a ton others with him that have all jumped to the top lane and created about 10 rows of 2x2 racing. Update on the biggest mover. It's still Joe Huerta plus 19 from his initial starting spot of 23rd. He runs 4th, second on the outside in that Jack Shack Toyota Supra. This race is the Jack Shack 133. Would be awfully convenient if Joe Huerta could go to victory lane in this race in the Jack Shack colors. The Jack Shack colors, I believe, have yet to win a race, at least on this big a stage. Looking for the first win for the Jack Shack. Kyler Wynn. Oh, I thought they were going to split him right there, but they keep him in line. It stacks up that middle lane, though, and Jason Maines sees an opportunity. He goes 3 wide around the outside of the cars in front of him. Kyler Wynn, Matthew Baker will battle for the lead, but Jason Maines and John Ellis have presented an added threat on the outside. They do need 1 or 2 more cars to go up there and will not get the help as of right now as they come off turn number 4. Wynn Baker, Mollahan, Guerrero, then Huerta and Lee, and then you'll find the first row of 3 wide with Jason Maines, Dylan Jones, and Kenny McCullough. Now Maines, Jones, and Lee as Maines and Ellis continue to roll forward. Trouble! Kyler Wynn, is he going to get turned? They're about to have each other trouble. John Mollahan is around. He goes right down into Vicente Guerrero. They stay off the speedway. Will the caution flag come out? No, it will not, and Mollahan and Guerrero are now in a really bad spot. Oh, man, Guerrero almost gets hit. And now the caution's going to come out. Well, okay, it was a little bit late. You kind of saw that one unfold live. We'll go back and watch it anyway as Vicente Guerrero and John Mollahan get together. Let's go take a look at it here. And this kind of starts up further than them. This kind of starts with Kyler Wynn and John Mollahan up at front of the field. Watch Wynn and Mollahan, first, second on the outside lane. What is the second lane at this point? And it's going to be this push right here. Watch this one. Right there. Gets Kyler a little bit out of shape. He has to chase it. Gets a little bit more of a push right here as he comes back across his bumper. Gets way out of shape. Comes back down. Clips Mollahan. He's going to go down and clip Baker. I have no idea how they didn't pile him up here. And as Mollahan bounces off Wynn the second time, he comes together with Vicente Guerrero, and they go sliding to the inside. Matt Lee gets a piece of this as well in the 0-4. We'll speed this up to live time to show you exactly where the caution flag comes out. And it is right here as Guerrero tries to get it back going. He's going to come back up the speedway. And as he comes back up the speedway, there's onrushing traffic coming from behind him, and that's where the caution flag was thrown. So we'll go back again, take another look. I mean, pretty straightforward here in terms of how this wreck unfolded. You'll see a really good angle of what I'm talking about. So watch this push right here. And then this second push, once Wynn is already out of shape, this one right here. And, man, I don't know how Kyler Wynn even kept this car generally going straight. I thought he was a goner. They come together right here. I thought they were going to wreck again. Mollahan keeps it off Baker, but by keeping it off of Baker, he bounces off Kyler Wynn and then proceeds to spin to the inside of the racetrack, and Guerrero is collected as well. Take one more look at it here. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, that camera doesn't really work either. So tough break for these cars, who bring out the second caution of the night on lap number 21. We've had a few stay out here, or at least a couple. Tim White, potentially John Ellis. I think it might just be Tim White that stayed out. From there on back, these guys came to pit road almost halfway in race number 2. So I do want to recap, should I say, the races from the last couple nights combined with race 1 tonight. So, again, last night the new trucks were put to the test in a 60-lapper for PGR race. It featured, I believe, 8, 9, 10 cautions. It featured a lot of wild wrecks. Again, Danny Barnes went for a wild tumble through the grass after he got up in the air. We had Jeff Murrick on the final lap go barrel rolling down the backstretch after he got airborne. Brock Westmoreland, again, did a Carl Edwards impression about right here on the front stretch. He ended up in the catch fencing last night at the midpoint of that race. Ron Morris and Clayton Woodby as well got involved in major airborne crashes, a new feature to the trucks after this week's update. They're going so fast, air gets underneath them. They actually do a blowover circa the car tomorrow around 2010, 2009. It was wild to see those wrecks last night. And at the end of that race, a bit of a connection issue caused about 13 drivers to lose connection to the race, including 2 inside the top 10. As a result, the race results were canceled. The race payouts were canceled as a result of the events of last night's race. A major connection issue for several in that race last night. So a tough way to end a chaotic race. Chris McCullough got the win, but unfortunately with the results being canceled, that win obviously going to be dampered a bit by the way that race ended. And then race 1 tonight, a really good race, like I said. A caution on lap 3, followed by 25 laps of really good green flag racing. A late green flag pit stop left only 3 trucks out front and 3 chasing them. In the end, 5 trucks were left to battle for the win, with Matt Lee overcoming challenges by Kyler Wynn, J.R. Miller, John Mullahan, and Vicente Guerrero to take race number 1 earlier tonight. 28 laps to go in this race, and Matt Lee, after a setback right there, is back in 18th, trying to go 2 for 2. Several guys trying to make it 2 for 2 on payouts tonight as well. And so here we go again. Tim White stayed out under the caution. He'll be alongside John Ellis on this restart. And it's Wynn and Huerta on row 2. Kenny McCullough and Jason Maines on row 3. It'll be J.R. Miller, Dylan Jones on row 4, and Aubrey Thompson and Brian Hennings on row 5. And away we go. Green flag is back in the air. 28 laps to go in Superspeedway Kingz Race 2. Tim White got a really good start, and so too did Kyler Wynn behind him. And the Minnesota Vikings Camaro is going to lead his first moments of this race, but not for long. Here comes that top lane. It is Ellis, it is Huerta, it is Jason Maines, Dylan Jones, and Brian Hennings. Further back, Logan York. Nathaniel Lee and others start to get rolling as well. John Ellis to the point. Strong run down the backstretch. The Sim Seats Camaro rolls his first way to the lead tonight, or actually his second turn leading this race. And Joe Huerta. Oh! Right as I was going to talk about him. Oh, he noses the outside wall. The big one strikes in turn 4. Multiple cars involved. John Ellis, J.R. Miller, Joe Huerta, Brian Hennings. And oh no, Matthew Baker's going to get involved and his engine expires. What in the world? Matthew Baker comes into the wreck late and blows the motor on the 5 car. And a race ender potentially for one of the favorites in the field. Oh no. And quickly, the third caution flag of the night has come out on lap number 24. Let's take a look. It was Joe Huerta and John Ellis, and watch that bumper slide that we see so much in this car. He's going to slide down right here, and as Huerta goes to reset, and that is a dangerous position. And he hooks John Ellis to his left in the middle of turns 3 and 4, and now watch as this wreck turns big in a hurry. Ellis, Tim White, Kyler Wynn, Kenny McCullough, Dylan Jones, Jason Maines. Joe Huerta noses the outside wall a ton, blows the front end off and puts the 2 tires up in the air. Brian Hennings, Dustin Carruthers, J.R. Miller, Aubrey Thompson. Further back, more guys going to get involved. Thompson gets hit by the 88 of Nathaniel Lee. Further back, they continue to wreck. John Mullahan and Matt Lee come together. And we keep watching. Oh, man, Josh McCullough. Oh, no. Hits his teammate, John Mullahan. And now watch right here, Matthew Baker in the 31. Or, excuse me, Matthew Baker and the 31 of Austin Trombley. And now watch as Baker. I mean, what in the world happened here? It's almost like he didn't see John Ellis. And he hammers him a ton. You see the plume of smoke. That means the engine has gone on the 5 car. He has expired the motor. Fast repair not going to help that. He won't even make it back to pit road. I mean, this was a wild wreck. Trying to see if we can get a little bit better angle of kind of what happened here off turn 4. Let's see if the fan cam does us any justice here. You look at just how big this wreck is from start to finish. Again, you can't really see anything here, but go to a couple more angles. We'll go up top. And, man, again, this is a bumper slide. We've seen this so many times. You're not going to be able to see it right here probably, but you almost can. Hold on. I'll back it up just a little bit so you can see it. It's right here that Huerta gets on the left rear quarter panel of John Ellis, and that is danger. He gets all the way down on that left quarter panel and starts a massive chain reaction. And watch all the guys get involved in this one. Joe Huerta, the biggest hit by far of this wreck. Maines backs it in. He loses a ton of that car. Big damage to the 12. Brian Hennings. Here comes J.R. Miller. Here comes Nathaniel Lee. And I don't know how Devin Ray missed that wreck. Does he miss J.R. Miller? Yeah. Richard Elliott bails to the bottom. So too does Buddy Waters. Logan York as well. And now watch as the second wave of cars come on here. Here comes Matthew Baker. He's already lost the back end. And, man, I'm not sure what happened there. What a weird and uncommon incident for a guy that usually is not prone to these kinds of moments. I'm not sure if it was just he didn't see him or if it was a mistake or what. No matter what it was, it's going to mean the end of the day for most likely him and several other cars here, and contending cars at that, as we watch the wreck unfold in turns 3 and 4. It's a product of this Xfinity car. The pushes are so sensitive in the corner. This car unloads so easily that you can't get offset to the person's left or their right. Their left is certainly more dangerous because it creates bumper hooks, as we like to call them, like that, where that person gets hooked, the wheel gets hooked out of their hands in one direction or the other. In that case, it gets hooked to his left, and it is on from there. Calamity in turn 4 takes out a number of our contending drivers. John Ellis continues to sit on pit road. J.R. Miller continues to sit on pit road. So too does Matthew Baker and several others. Joe Huerta, Mark Vondell, Jimmy Emos, Kenny Stamper, Mark Math, Bobby Forbes, Landon Velicky, Heath Job all sit on pit road. We are quickly realizing a race of attrition at the front of the field. And we're down to about 20 cars on the lead lap, maybe 21 of the 34 that started tonight's race, and we're not even halfway. We're halfway right now. A race of attrition has brought itself on here at Talladega. We still have a long ways to go. Here we go again. Tim White retains the lead under this caution flag, so he'll lead the field back to the green flag. It'll be Kyler Wynn in second. Row 2 will be Kenny McCullough and John Ward. Row 3, Dustin Carruthers, Devin Ray. Row 4, Matt Lee and Logan York. In row 5, Dylan Jones and Chris Carter is in the 10th position now. And again, you see how much of the field has disappeared off the back end of the field, and that is because a number of drivers are on pit road multiple laps down and out of tonight's race. And as I understand it, there might not have been a fast repair in this second race of the night. Green flag is back out. Another great start for Tim White. And Kenny McCullough is along with him. Man, Tim White, props to the driver of the Minnesota Vikings Chevrolet, as he is really starting to flex some muscle here at the front of the field. Good run for Tim White. Kyler Wynn, though, says not so fast. He'll go back to the outside of Tim White, try to get the lead back. It's John Ward, the team owner of Hyper Motorsports, also to his outside here as the field rolls 2x2, about 9 rows deep, off turn number 4 into the trial. Well, Kyler Wynn back to the point. And I just got confirmation from race control. There is no fast repair, so apologies for my false reporting at the beginning of the night. No fast repair means that the following drivers are likely out for the evening. John Ellis, Matthew Baker, Joe Huerta, Mark Vondell, I believe might still be running, as well as Jimmy Emos, but he's multiple laps down. Kenny Stamper is still on pit road. Bobby Forbes, Mark Mathheath, Joe Blandon, Velicki, potentially Brian Hennings as well, are all out of the race. As of right now, there are only 22 cars on the lead lap and only 21 in the lead draft of the 34 that started tonight's race. And there's still 23 laps to go. Kyler Wynn to the lead. John Ward now leads the outside lane, and they're going to get a big run. Here comes Devin Ray along the back of John Ward. He'll push the 92 all the way to a commanding lead here at the line. 22 laps to go. Still a pit stop remaining, by the way, for these drivers in about the next 12 laps or so from right now, about the 10 lap to go mark. Assuming there is no more caution flags, is when we would get that only green flag pit stop of the night. Down the back straightaway one more time comes the field of now about 21 cars down from our 34-car starting field. John Ward, Devin Ray battle for the lead. Dylan Jones, Kyler Wynn, the pushers in either lane. For the back, Richard Elliott, Tim White, John Mullahan. Dustin Carruthers is still in this as well inside the top 10. So too is Vicente Guerrero and Matt Lee. A lot of heavy hitters are out. An opportunity arises now for somebody to get a statement victory in tonight's second race. 21 to go. John Ward back to the point. He'll go back to the bottom and lead over Kyler Wynn here again in 1 and 2. Again, a pit stop still to go at some point in the next 21 laps. We're not exactly sure when, but I expect it to be right around the 10 to 12 laps to go mark. Headed for turn 3. A couple cars about to get lapped. Jason Main's heavily damaged. He'll go a lap down. Actually, another lap down. I believe he's already won. Lap down. He'll go another. Man, he is going very slow. I mean, Jason Maines is laboring a little bit right now up against the wall. I mean, look at the speed difference. Goodness. Through the trial, Ray now dead even with John Ward. Give this lap to Devin Ray for KSR. The bucked up Chevrolet leads lap number 30. As now 31 are on the board. We're inside of 20 laps to go. Ward back to the point. Ray trying to fight back. One car off. It's Tim White. He got way out of shape. But he'll bring it back up. Bring it back up slowly. He's going to find a spot in line. He will towards the back end of the lead draft. That's going to allow Dylan Jones to go to the lead. He'll power around the outside with the help of Richard Elliott, John Mullahan, and others. Dylan Jones to the lead, the all-white 32, as he's going to take his first shot out front. 19 laps to go when the field hits the start-finish line again. A pit stop remains. The question now becomes, in a race of attrition, do you pit early, get away from the field, or do you run it out and hope for the best? Last time out, the last group to pit, which was most of the leaders, came out with a victory. Granted, that group was very split up when they came off pit road. Down the backstretch once again, Devin Ray back to the point by about a nose, making half a car length over Dylan Jones. On the bumper of John Ward, Devin Ray looking for a big victory tonight as well in the 2-car. And he's still got one of his teammates here towards the front. His other 2 are on pit road. He jumps to the top side here in front of Dylan Jones. John Ward goes back to the point as a result in the bumper of Kyler Wynn. And it's 18 laps to go this time by again. These guys are racing to pit service. We imagine here late in the going, the race got to that pit stop in the last go-around. Will it get to a green flag pit stop here, and how radically will that change the running order here at the front of the field when all is said and done? Another car going a lap down. I believe that's Nathaniel Lee that will go, I believe, 2 laps down this time by as the field bypasses him. Next car up is the 31 of Austin Trombley, and he's just going to dive out of the way on the bottom. Next up, Josh McCullough not far in front of him. Trombley's out of shape. He gets it gathered back up. He's dirt tracking through the grass. He's able to get it back on track. We are down to 17 cars in the lead draft of 34 that started tonight's race. And that's an incredible stat to me. Devin Ray again serves this to the outside line here. He's got help from Dylan Jones, Richard Elliott. Now John Mullahan has joined that party as well. Only 4 cars now, 5 as Aubrey Thompson jumps out of line, remain on the top side. Lee thinking about making it 6, but he's going to stay put. 4 now on the bottom. I mean, you've cut the field in half. Back to about Christopher Carter, and some of the biggest hitters in the field are out of the race. Again, if you're just joining us, a massive wreck under our last caution has pretty much eliminated Jason Mange, John Ellis, Matthew Baker, Joe Huerta, Brian Hennings, Austin Trombley, Mark Vondell, Jimmy Emos, Kenny Stamper, Mark Math, Landon Velicki, and Heath Jobe, as well as Bobby Forbes, all have been eliminated in wrecks tonight. Again, no fast repair means you only get 1 car, and as a result, some of the biggest hitters in the race are sitting in the garage area. They had to take a very early end to their evening tonight. Coming down to get 15 laps to go. The pit window will open here. It should already be open, actually, or pretty close, for these guys to be able to make it to the end of the race should they want to pit short and top off the tank, make their final pit stops early. Should they want to do that, the window is now open for them to do so. Tim White comes off pit road. Remember, he was off cycle, so as a result, he will go a lap down in 19th position. That leaves 18 cars on the lead lap, but only 17 in the lead track. Daniel Eberhardt, the final car on the lead lap. Ward up to the top side to pick up Devin Ray. Kyler Wynn now goes back to the race lead off turn 4. A couple guys leaning. Do they pit? No. They stay on the speedway. 14 laps to go. And the short pit window and the actual pit window are really not going to be that far apart, just by about a few laps. About a few laps separating those two windows. Ward back to the lead down in front of Kyler Wynn. We expect the field on pit road here in the next probably 3 to 4 laps tops. And that would be the final round of green flag pit stops, and then a race to the end in race 2 of Superspeedway Kingz. Finally able to take a breath in this race. It felt like the first little while between the caution flags, the wrecks, and all the racing going on up at the front, we weren't able to really take a breath. Now the race is really settled out, waiting for pit stops to occur here late in the race. And as the race has calmed down, I am double-checking the chat. Sorry, guys, I don't have it up the whole race tonight. And Logan York told me a while ago there was no fast repair, so sorry I missed that. Matthew Baker said the rear end was broken. We saw that on the replay. The rear end was already torn off the 5 and couldn't get it down. Couldn't get it woed down enough to avoid John Ellis. So there's what happened to the 5 car. And, yeah, we kind of saw that on that last replay. We saw the rear end torn out of the 5 car, and, yeah, that effect must have affected his ability to brake the car, get it down to the speed he needed to go. John Ward almost turned off Kyler Wynn's bumper. Boy, that was close. New leader at Talladega with 12 laps to go. Devin Ray takes advantage, says, thank you very much. I'll use that to my advantage and jump out in front of the field once again. Now only 2 cars remain on the top side, Dylan Jones and Richard Elliott. We expect the field on pit road in the next 2 to 3 laps tops for their final round of service here in tonight's race. From there, it'll be a matter of who cycles out with the lead draft, who is in contention to win this race. and win a pretty nice payout for the victory. I believe it's going to be somewhere in the range of $200. Based on tonight's flyer, now it was based on 43. Was 200 to first, 200 to second, 176 to third, 170 to fourth, 125 to fifth, and 125 to sixth. Those will scale back just a little bit with only 34 cars, so probably looking at about $175 to the winner, but that's still a nice payday in race number 2, especially if you're a guy like, say, Kyler Wynn, who finished second in race number 1. If you're a guy like John Mullahan, who finished 4th in race number 1. Matt Lee won race 1. He's 11th here in race 2. Vicente Guerrero finished 5th in race 1 and cashed. He's now 12th in race 2. And J.R. Miller, who finished 3rd, is 13th, now 14th on the racetrack. He could cash for the second time tonight as well. All 5 guys that took money in that first race could just as easily cash here in race number 2. Devin Ray on the bumper of Dylan Jones goes all the way back around John Ward. He'll get back to the race lead and jump back down in front of him. The 2-car looks sporty tonight with 10 laps remaining on the board. Who's going to win? Race 2 of Superspeedway Kingz moves further back. John Mullahan, Matt Lee. Now Lee back to the bottom, but Mullahan's still up. Stephen Miles is still up. Now Devin Ray jumps out, and so too does Chris Carter. So several cars jumping out of line. We anticipate pit stops. Could they be potentially figuring out a strategy here? Now Mullahan has some more help. He's got Logan York alongside the back of him now. And it's 7 cars on the top side, and we're back to 2-wide racing for most of the field. Again, a pit stop will be required, we imagine. Off turn 4. Does anybody come right here? Yes, they do. It is John Ward, Kyler Wynn, and several others. So Ward, Wynn, McCullough, Carruthers, Ward, Mullahan, Lee, Guerrero, Miller, Thompson, Haynes, and Buddy Waters. And that leaves 6 cars on the racetrack. They are the following: Devin Ray, Dylan Jones, Richard Elliott, Logan York, Stephen Miles, and Chris Carter remain on the speedway. Will come this time by to complete their pit service. It all comes down to this: the final 9 laps of the race of the second race of Superspeedway Kingz. We're down to crunch time. This final pit stop, we like to call it the money stop for more than one reason. Number 1, to get you in position to win the race. Number 2, to get you in a position to win some money. Off turn 4. The rest of these 6 will come down pit road. They'll give each other plenty of space to get on pit road safely. Richard Elliott boots it. Dylan Jones locks up at the pit entry line. Did he get a penalty? So Richard Elliott ends up out on the racetrack. We're going to go double-check Dylan Jones here. See if there's a pit road penalty incurred on the 32. Rest of those cars rolling. So too is Dylan Jones. No penalty for Dylan Jones. Richard Elliott will come to pit road this time by. He's all by his lonesome right now. Where's that group at? They're just now coming through the tri-oval. They're all kinds of split up, though, in this second group. They've got past Nathaniel Lee, but they are way up here. Is that second group. A great pit stop is going to keep them in front of the leaders for a more than a moment here on the backstretch. Great work by that second group to come down pit road. Now, they will be caught, but they had a big buffer, and they'll be able to maintain that run and potentially maintain some track position when the leaders get to them. When we come off turn number 4, Lee around Chris Carter. Here comes the train behind our group of leaders. Mark Math is on the tracks, and they're trying to go around him. They're going to have to split 4 wide. Mark Math is in the middle of the racetrack. He's still in the middle of the racetrack. They're splitting each one way, 4 wide for a moment. Will they stay 4 wide? They're going to stay 4 wide. Matt Lee got the short end of that stick. He's going all the way to the back. He'll slide in front of Vicente Guerrero and push it back to 3 wide. The race for the win is on. Oh, Matt Lee got some contact from Vicente Guerrero in the back. Dylan Jones leads. Devin Ray is second. Stephen Miles leads the outside lane, the middle lane, with Logan York. On the far outside, it's Kyler Wynn, but now his help bails. Kenny McCullough, Aubrey Thompson bail out of line and leave Kyler Wynn by his lonesome up against the safer barrier. Dylan Jones to the middle in front of Miles. Devin Ray going to get a chance to lead the race in 3 and 4. It's John Ward on the bumper of him. Devin Ray for KSR back to the front, coming to 6 laps to go. 6 more at the line. Kyler Wynn now has some company up top. Mullahan, J.R. Miller, but Logan York was up there for a second, jumps back down. Dylan Jones back to the right elbow here at Devin Ray. 6 more times around Talladega to determine a winner in Superspeedway Kingz. Dylan Jones, Devin Ray are 1 and 2. Miles and Ward are the pushers. York and Chris Carter are third in line. What a run for Chris Carter in the 33. Carruthers not in a position to help his teammate right now in the 10. Another car jumps out of line. That's Kenny McCullough. He's going to jump in front of Kyler Wynn. Logan York jumps in front of Kenny. Kenny jumps back in line. Kyler, does he hold up there with Logan? Damaged car up ahead is Josh McCullough. They're going to have to squeeze 4 wide, and a couple more starting to try to single file out. Tim White and Daniel Eberhardt. They get around the first one. 4 wide just fine. They're going to catch Eberhardt and Eberhardt and White in a very good spot to be able to not wreck the lead lap cars, as York will file 4 wide around those two, and no harm, no foul. 5 laps to go at Talladega, and Dylan Jones goes back to the point. Jones, Ray, side by side. Who's the first to actually get it together and get that third lane rolling? Ray going to find a gap. John Ward pushes him clear. Devin Ray in control of this race with 5 laps to go. On the bottom now they start to roll. John Ward gets a nice roll to the inside as Ray went to cover up lanes, but now the outside surges at the end of the backstretch, and he's got about a half car length lead. Oh, Chris Carter getting shoved out of line. That bottom line's going to parachute. Trouble! Vicente Guerrero is around in the back. Can he hold on to it? Chris Carter now around to the front. They both hang on, and we're staying green. Oh, man, that screwed J.R. Miller badly. He's going to lose the draft. So, too, is John Mullahan, and we're down. Oh, trouble! Devin Ray and John Ward come together at the front. Now they're going to lose it. With 4 laps to go, we might be down to about an 8-car race for the win. Matt Lee's looking to go 2 for 2. He's got Logan York all over him. Dylan Jones in the middle. He's got Stephen Miles with him. How big a win would this be for the Nightmare driver, Stephen Miles? He's got a good helper behind him in Kenny McCullough, but the bottom lane's got all the help. How about Dustin Carruthers? Could he get this one done for KSR? York bails on Matt Lee. He goes back to the bottom side. That group running behind the leaders is losing time. They're not gaining anything. We're down to 8 potentially for the win. Miles now leads the outside. Does he file in or does he stay up? He stays up. He's going to get a nice run. Here comes the 24 of Stephen Miles. He's looking for the race lead. 3 laps to go. Jones throws a block. Miles steps a lane higher, but now steps back in line. Dylan Jones going to hang right there. Stephen Miles, that was smart. Level-headed move to jump back in line and just hang your position. You're in a good spot here if you're Stephen Miles. Carruthers to the lead. They start to wash up. Trouble. Aubrey Thompson gets into the outside wall. The leaders start to go around. Now they're going to wreck. Kenny McCullough and Aubrey Thompson are off. Do they keep it green? Does Race Control decide to keep this one green? They do. New leader in turn 3. They're 4 wide behind him. Dustin Carruthers, but he's on an island. That second group is starting to catch up. Mullahan, Ward, Ray, and Chris Carter. They're going to be involved in this race for the win. Thompson and McCullough are out of it. 2 laps to go when we see the next time by. And Mullahan is in draft range. Kyler Wynn to the outside of Carruthers. They hang him out to dry. Carruthers up to block. Can't get it done. Up to block again. Up to side draft is Carruthers. Matt Lee around the outside. Kyler Wynn, Logan York battling here for the lead with under 2 laps to go. And again, John Mullahan finds himself in the same position he was just in. Wynn blocks high. York goes low but has no help. Now Matt Lee jumps back to the top. Now he goes back to the bottom. In behind Logan York now is Matt Lee. Matt Lee going to try to go 2 for 2, and he's in a great spot. Does Miles step a lane high? He does, but he has nobody go with him. Scramble at the front as that second group got here. Matt Lee for the race lead. Wynn in behind him. Oh, they're going to wreck. Logan York was all kinds of out of shape. How did Logan York keep that one together? I don't know, but as they come off turn 4, they're going to get to the white flag another 1,000 feet, and we're going to determine the winner right here. Matt Lee outside, Logan York inside, and a hungry pack of drivers behind them. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go in Superspeedway Kingz. Lee to the race lead. I imagine he will not give up the top. He's going to keep that track position. Logan York, Dustin Carruthers, and John Mullahan trying to mount a rally late. Here comes the block by Lee. Blocks to the bottom. He's got to make sure he stays clear of Kyler Wynn, or Kyler's going to get a big run to the outside of him. Here comes Kyler. Do they look around Kyler here on the end of the back straightaway? Matt Lee's back clear again, and he goes back up. Matt Lee trying to go 2 for 2, trying to win both races tonight. Kyler Wynn, I don't think he's going to have it. Dustin Carruthers pushing all over Logan York. He's trying everything he can to get the 23 or the 25 clear. Logan York now in a good spot. He's going to have to start throwing blocks. He blocks high once. Lee goes a little bit higher. They wreck out back. Kyler Wynn, John Mullahan get into each other. York got a block top and block bottom through the trioval for the final time. He blocks out to the wall. Drag race to the line. Logan York wins a thriller at Talladega. That was one of the best 10-lap runs to the finish I have ever seen. That was a clinic in super speedway racing right there by all of those guys involved in that race. Incredible stuff. And Logan York steals away Matt Lee's chance for a back-to-back win. Holy cow. Dustin Carruthers, Devin Ray, by the way, 2 cash spots tonight for KSR. It's a big night for them as a team as well. Oh, my goodness. What a race. What a race. What a finish. That was outstanding. And Logan York has earned these victory burnouts here on the front stretch, and we'll give him his moment to shine. Logan York wins it at Talladega in Race 2 of Superspeedway Kingz. Catch your breath. That's all you can do. That was incredible. Oh. I'm taking a second myself here to catch my breath because that was an unbelievable finish. Really, I wish I could show you the entire last 8 laps on a replay because, I mean, the front group gets scrambled up, then they almost wreck. The second group catches them. And then we proceed to just have guys throwing haymakers at each other for the last 3 laps of that race until inevitably it was Logan York that got the job done. We'll show you the finish at the very least. Before we get into some post-race interviews and the post-race results, we'll show you the finish of tonight's race. I'm trying to get as far back as we can, kind of get some of the scramble off turn 4. This one, I thought it was Lee that was going to be really in the driver's seat here for the race win. This push from Dustin Carruthers in the middle of 3 and 4, this one right here, sends York far enough out that when he comes off 4, all he's got to do is start blocking. He blocks once. Great block there. The momentum leaves the top side. Carruthers comes back to the bottom. York says, okay, I'm not going to get stressed. Blocks back bottom. The momentum goes away. He blocks back top and does just enough. And I mean, he barely got that one to edge out Matt Lee as they wreck behind him at the line. I mean, a picture-perfect finish. This is incredible. Look at this. Here's the margin of victory. There you go. There's your margin of victory tonight from Talladega for Logan York, who gets the job done tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. We will go through your finishing results, then we'll go get your top 3 for some post-race interviews. We will start, though, with your finishing results. Logan York steals away a victory tonight by 15 one-thousandths of a second over Matt Lee in the 0-4. Dustin Carruthers finishes 3rd for KSR, with his teammate Devin Ray finishing in 4th, Dylan Jones in 5th, and John Ward in the final money position tonight in 6th. Kyler Wynn finishes 7th, Stephen Miles in 8th, Vicente Guerrero 9th, and Jared Haynes in 10th. Buddy Waters finishes 11th tonight. Richard Elliott 12th. Aubrey Thompson 13th. John Mullahan 14th. And Chris Carter in 15th. Tim White 16th. J.R. Miller 17th. Daniel Eberhard in 18th. Josh McCullough 19th. And Nathaniel Lee 20th. Kenny McCullough finishes 21st. Mark Mondell in 22nd. Jimmy Emos in 23rd. Austin Trombley in 24th. Jason Maines in 25th. John Ellis in 26th. Joe Huerta in 27th. Brian Hennings in 28th. Matthew Baker in 29th. And Mark Math 30th. It is Kenny Stamper 31st, Landon Velicki 32nd, Heath Job 33rd, and Bobby Forbes in 34th, the final car listed on tonight's finishing results. We're going to go get your top three for some interviews. You won't want to miss a thing in these after an incredible one at Talladega. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the top three finishing interviews. Dustin Carruthers, Matt Lee, and Logan York. Stay with us here on PGR eSports. Back live on PGR eSports, we found your top three for some interviews. We'll start with the man who finished in third of this incredibly chaotic yet entertaining race tonight from Talladega. And it's one of the two KSR entries that cashed in tonight's race. Tonight's third-place finisher, Dustin Carruthers in the 10. Dustin, it's Dawson in the booth. You get a copy.
Yeah, what's up, Dawson?
Man, what a race. I'm raving about the last 8 laps of that race, about everything that could have happened. Did happen. Looked like you were in a good spot to maybe win this race. Then you were kind of devised to pushing, and again had a look at the win. Take us through the last little bit of that race, just what all was going through your head.
Oh, I don't know, man. It just got real choppy at the end. I seen Logan jumping back and forth between lines, and he jumped down in front of me, and I was just, just content to push him as hard as I could. I figured that's the best spot for me to be in to try to get some money, and so what I did, and it worked out. At the end, cashed out.
Well, you certainly did. It paid off for you and your teammate Devin Ray tonight. A great run for KSR. Coming into this race, obviously, coming out of the truck and into the Xfinity car, is the transition any different now that the truck is new, per se? It's a little bit different. Is that transition from truck back to Xfinity any different than it was before the update?
Yeah, they changed the trucks, not for the better, but, we run these things so damn much, it don't matter. Going from one to the other, we run these things multiple times a week, so it didn't really affect anything.
Well, great run for you tonight. A third-place finish. Backwards nonetheless, but it counts all the same. So before we let you go and celebrate after a chaotic one tonight, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Oh, yeah, I want to shout out my new buddy, Chris, everybody at KSR, Kenneth Stamper, Trevin, Devin, Joe, everyone that runs with us every night. Jimmy Crow, PGR eSports, you for doing the broadcast. That's about it.
Well, congrats on that third-place run. Thanks for talking to me for a second. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We will talk to you soon.
All right, later, Dawson.
Dustin Carruthers in the 10, your third-place finisher tonight. On to the second-place finisher now. And what a night this man just had in terms of winning some money. He wins race number 1. Now he comes up about 6 inches short of winning race number 2. It's Matt Lee again. Hey, Matt, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's up, bud?
Man, I figured you were going to probably be up front in this race. You were coming off some momentum from winning that one. I thought you were in the driver's seat there late. At the end, about 15,000 short, but nonetheless, a great night for you. A first in race 1, a second in race 2. Got to feel pretty good about the night you just had.
Yeah, it was a really good night. Yeah, we come up just a little short there in 3 and 4. It really, I got a little loose when Kyler got to my bumper, and it killed all of our momentum. But still, it was a great run.
Well, it really was, and this chaotic run to the end, kind of take us through it from your perspective, because, we saw you switch lanes, you go up, you go back down, then you go back to the top. It looks like you're in the perfect position to hold off the charge from Dustin Carruthers and Logan York on the bottom at the end of the race. Obviously, it did not pan out that way, but take us through that last run to the finish from your perspective.
Yeah, guys were just losing it on the bottom. I think the tires were gone. Like I said, I got loose on the last lap on my own there. There was nothing on the rear end to get a hold of. So I think the guys on the bottom were probably getting kind of bumped and shot off the track really easily. And, I just had to keep it straight and keep rolling there. We got buried once because of some of it, and, got back there. Like I said, I got loose there off of 4, and, it cost us the win, but It was a great race to the finish there, and a lot of fun with Logan and Kyler battling it all back and forth.
It was a lot of fun to watch as well. Well, after a great night, again, a win in race 1, a second here in race 2. Before we let you go and enjoy your nice night of winnings tonight, is there anybody like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just shout out to you guys again, Jimmy for putting it on, Cody and Kenny for doing the race control tonight, Martin Sports, anyone looking for sim racing gloves, jerseys, anything like that, check them out, martinsports906.com. And that's about it, brother.
Well, congratulations on another great run, a second here in race number 2. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you soon.
Later, bud.
Matt Lee in the 0-4, your second place finisher tonight from Talladega, and that leads us to the man I imagine is going to be very excited about this win. He's taken a liking to this Xfinity car, I think. Another exciting win, and comes out on top of a chaotic last lap scramble for the win, and it's Logan York in the 0-2. Logan, you got me up here in the booth.
Yeah, I got you, Dawson.
Well, take me through it. You know, that last lap scramble, obviously, you know, what's going through your head. You get pushed to the lead. From there, it's all blocking. We saw you do it earlier in the season in Tuesday Night Thunder to capture your first win there and make the playoffs. Tonight, you capture a win at Superspeedway Kingz, doing the same thing. Take us through that last lap scramble.
Yeah, it was a pretty strange last 5 laps, I'm not going to lie. I got a little bit lucky because they, wrecked in front of me, and I chose the correct path. The biggest thing to take away from that for me was to watch to my left and right whenever they're wrecking, because there's some people like Dylan Jones that decide to try to hook it back into the racing line as quick as possible. So I was thankful to avoid that. But that last lap, I was trying to just find my way to the front. I knew Kyler was going to throw a block a little early, so I was trying to bait him into going high, and it worked. I'm thankful that Matt Lee went with me. And then after that, after I was in the lead coming out of 4, I just got to trying to maintain those lines. Lee got to my outside, but I had a feeling it was a little bit too late for him, and then they wrecked behind us, and it just secured the deal there.
Well, you know, you got to be getting used to this now. It's another big win for you. Obviously, we talked about that win that got you in the playoffs on Tuesday nights. Now you capture a Friday night win, again, a multiple-time winner on Monday nights as well. You know, just kind of, you know, take us through, you know, what's changed, I guess is the right question. You know, kind of what's gotten you on this spree of wins over the past couple of months.
Yeah, I don't think anything's really changed. I mean, I kind of drive the same way I did when I first started money racing. I think it's just polishing a little bit, just making sure I don't make those little mistakes, like getting loose out of a corner or just pushing too hard, pushing offset, and just keeping my aggressive driving style with a polished driving repertoire, I guess, just kind of helped me find the front. With this new package, I found it's a little bit better to ride in the back at the beginning, because when you're avoiding wrecks up front, going through the apron and grass gives you some unrepairable damage. So I think that is going to lead to some results in the future as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, you're back in victory lane tonight. A big win for you here in race number 2. So before we let you go and enjoy it a little bit, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank Jimmy Krill for putting these races on. I want to thank Dustin for that awesome push at the end. I want to thank Matt Lee for not wrecking me. He very well could have. I want to thank all the drivers that show up and make this such a good competition. I want to thank everybody that watches the broadcast and makes this possible. And I want to thank you guys for broadcasting.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me for a second here. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate this win. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep, I will talk to you soon, Dawson.
Logan York, the winner tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. A rough one at times in terms of attrition. A couple of big wrecks taking out some big hitters. But if you waited around and watched that last 10 to 15 lap run, a barn burner of a race. An incredible scramble to the end. Quintessential Superspeedway racing when it came down to it. Guys throwing haymakers at each other for the last 3 laps, and it resulted in an incredible last lap finish and a drag race photo finish win for Logan York in the 25. That's going to just about do it for me here on PGR eSports. My name is Dawson Wise. We'll give some programming notes here before we go really quickly. On Monday, the Dega Pros Little Guys Series is back. I know round 4 did not have a broadcast. Trevor Osbornoff won that race. He's in the championship race. Come back for round 5. Should be live here on PGR eSports on Monday night. Ron Morris Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder. Another playoff event was we set the round of 8 on Tuesday night. Matthew Baker locked his way into the round of 8 with his win on Tuesday. Who are the 7 drivers that will join him in their quest for a championship? Find out on Tuesday night. The Intimidator Superspeedway Series is back next week. Unsure of the series at this point. It will be at Talladega as far as I know. We just don't know what series it's going to be yet. At this point, just keep your eyes peeled. Actually, no, we do know. Sorry about that. That's in 2 weeks. We actually don't know. Next week is throwback night for PGR eSports for the first time. The 87s come out at Talladega. That's going to be an interesting one for sure. A new dynamic for PGR eSports. And then we're right back here with Superspeedway Kingz for what should be another doubleheader next Friday night. Keep it tuned to PGR eSports. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and follow the social platforms because information about the SummerSlam 499 should be coming in the next week to week and a half. A big event at the end of July that's going to be a big-time crown jewel event. You'll want to keep that one marked on your calendars. The last weekend in July, we'll be running the SummerSlam 499. We'll have some more information coming on that in the coming days. Again, thank you so much for watching and spending some of your Friday with me here on PGR eSports. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching Superspeedway Kingz race number 2, the Jack Shack 133. Logan York gets the job done at Talladega and ends a barn burner of a race in the only way we know how, a photo